Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to cook a beautiful, simple meal for you. Roasted chicken with rosemary and lemon, rutabaga, the way you have never had it before. And beautiful, beautiful, you can go with mashed potato. Welcome to my house. Come on into my kitchen where we're gonna make some goodies the way I usually do when I have friends over. Fortunate to have one of my dear friends here today, Marion, who will be my taster, my critic, I hope, and my dinner guest. We're gonna make a rosemary and lemon roast chicken and some mashed potatoes with coconut milk, as well as I asked my son, who's going to volunteer, to show how to turn a turnip and caramelize them. Because if you think you've had rutabaga or turnip before, you'll think again after you tried this. So you want to start with whatever takes the longest to cook, in this case our chicken. Choose a beautiful one. See if you have a farm close by. There's lots around Barrie area that will be happy to help you. You can taste the difference if you have a really, really good chicken. Simple. I like starting with a bit of olive oil because that'll make my spices stick to that chicken. So just coat it all around a little bit. If you want to keep it simple and not make a mess, just put it in a bowl. So if you're concerned about contamination in your kitchen, that'll take care of that. You try not to splash anything around. Just simply put some salt, and I am generous with salt and pepper on the inside of the chicken. I have a pink Himalayan salt, go on the outside, and the coarse ground pepper. You just want to coat it nicely, evenly all around, under the wings, under the leg. Don't forget an area because you will taste the difference when it's evenly spiced. And then we're going to go really, really high on the paprika. It helps make it look real happy when it comes out of the oven. You can always add a little bit of oil to make that more like a marinade. Inside, again, very simple. You want to just grab a couple of branches of rosemary. Bring that inside of your chicken. And what I like too is to cut up a lemon and put a half of one inside of that chicken cavity. And there it is. That was fast, wasn't it? Ready to go on your roasting pan. So your oven, and in it goes. Now in the meantime, I think when you have somebody be so kind to sit with you, you want to make sure you feed them just a little bit, so enjoy that.
That never seems to be a problem in this house.
Very good. Ben, tell us about that rutabaga.
Alrighty, so today we're going to turn some rutabagas. Turning a rutabaga is not just spinning and turning a vegetable. It's actually an old technique that they use to make any size vegetable the same size when you go to cook it. So for a rutabaga, they're one of the harder vegetables. You just start by cutting it and then peeling it. So you want to cut off the top and bottom, simply, and then you want to grab a peeler and peeling it.
And that's pretty hard work, isn't it?
Yep, and it's time consuming.
Vegetables are not easy, it is. But we're partially ahead. We cheated just a little bit and peeled some and cut some.
You'll be left with a quarter of a rutabaga, cut into about this size. Any size vegetable works, any size vegetable you can turn. So we'll quarter it to get a good size, and then you take a fancy turning knife, which most people won't have in their household, but you can also use just a paring knife. And the idea is that you get all of the vegetable to the same size and shape. And this is the shape that you're really looking for. And then you can go anywhere from very small to very large. So these ones are a little larger because rutabagas were large. Always keep them in water when you're not using them so they don't brown. What you want to do is you want to take away all these sharp points. So just by running the knife through it and making your rounded cuts, you just work your way around the wedge. This is an old French technique that they still use in old French classical cooking.
While you're doing all these difficult things, because I didn't go to culinary school, so I keep things easy, and I tried, but I cannot get this nice and even as Ben does. I just do chunks, same size. This look is gorgeous, and you can really impress your guests, but you don't have to do that. This is perfectly fine too. You have to be good as Ben to do the turning better.
Turning's a lot of practice. And then once you have your turned vegetables, we're going to caramelize them. So you grab a pot or a saucepan and you just lay out the turned vegetables in it. And then from here you want to make what they call a cartouche out of paper. It's basically just a paper lid. Take your parchment paper, fold it in half again. You take the end where the two folds are, then you fold it into the triangle. Work your way in. You then line it up to the middle of the pot, roughly there. You can always make a second cut. Cut a little hole in the middle. That's going to let the steam evaporate while we cook it. If we did it properly and unwrap it, it should fit in quite nicely.
Perfect.
And then the rest is garbage. And then to caramelize them, you first have to cook them in a water to make them soft, otherwise they'll be hard. So you add just enough water just before they're fully covered. You want to add enough water so that they'll cook through slowly. And then you want to add salt. You want to add sugar, quite a bit of sugar, because that's what's going to caramelize it at the end, is the mix of sugar and butter that we're going to add. The more butter you add, the more butter flavor you'll have at the end.
I think the trick here is that the water evaporates during the cooking all the way down until there's nothing left, and once that's all gone, your vegetable is ready to eat. It's soft, it's cooked, and at the very end your salt, your sugar, and your butter that's left in the pan will caramelize just as a little finishing touch, and that really gives it that, wow, this is rutabaga, because really you will taste it. It's amazing. It's worth the extra little bit of trouble. Not necessarily the turning, that's just for good looks, and that's beautiful. But if you do that with dices, with sticks, any shapes you like, you're comfortable cutting with, it'll be just as nice. And the flavor is to die for. So we'll get that cooking?
Yep, you want to put it on medium-low heat just to get it to a simmer.
And in the meantime, while that starts cooking, I think we just need to get some potatoes peeled, because we're going to do mashed potatoes. Now you have a lot of time. The chicken is in the oven at about 400 degrees on convection setting for an hour and 10 to an hour and 20 minutes, depending on the size of your chicken. You want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. No pink in chicken, that's not good. We all know that by now. We chose today to make mashed potatoes. I have a good memory of mashed potatoes. It's one of my favorite meals. We all have our comfort foods. Mashed potatoes at my house when I was a kid were made by my grandma. And for many, many, many years after I finally grew up a bit and I was involved in cooking and working in kitchens here and there, I have never had mashed potatoes exactly the way my grandma used to make them, and I've always missed that. And when I cooked with her, she really couldn't tell me what it is she does special. You mash some potatoes, it has to be a good potato, a bit of salt in the water, a bit of butter, a bit of hot milk, and that was it. For her, a bit of maybe nutmeg. I could not get that same mashed potato. And then when my grandma passed away, I ended up owning her. It's really, I have it somewhere, sorry, almost an antique now, her potato ricer. And believe it or not, this old piece makes those mashed potatoes like my grandma did. Just exactly, so that was it. That was really the trick. I don't know why. It looks just like a normal ricer, a little older. But now I can make her mashed potatoes, and it's beautiful. So again, we have lots of time while the chicken is in the oven. You want to wash your potatoes and just put them aside for now. I'm going to cut them up, put them in a pot, and about 20 minutes, 25 before your chicken is all finished, we'll put the potatoes on the stovetop. Marion, I don't see you eating yet.
Oh,
You have to try. Oh,
I'm just waiting for the chicken.
something. Oh, I have something that you might want to taste. I found an ingredient. It happens. We cook a lot. We all know about food. We experiment. We try. But once in a while, you come across something that's just mind-blowing. That's just, wow, I have not ever tried that before or tasted. I found something. I'm going to make you taste that. They're little white and black balsamic pearls. You have a spoon.
I do.
You need to have a little taste
thank you.
of that. I'll give you a couple more spoons if you like.
Which one should I be trying?
I'd start
first?
with the white one. It's just phenomenal. We eat it on anywhere you would put a balsamic vinegar glaze.
I'm just going to taste
You can
it
try it
first.
like this because it's not acidy, just a little. Very sweet. And just when that little pearl pops,
Oh,
you put it on a tomato with a bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. And as you eat away on your tomato, one after that other pearl
Bursts.
pops in your mouth, and it's heaven. How'd you like that?
it's delicious.
Isn't it? So I'm now, because I'm crazy about them, I'm trying to incorporate them in all kinds of dishes when we do side dishes or even mains. So I'm tempted to try a couple of those even on my roast chicken today, just for fun. May or may not work out. The potatoes for mashed, again, as always, when you cook a vegetable or potatoes, anything, you want to make sure your size is even so it cooks at the same time. It helps when you have about even-sized potatoes to start with. Somebody a while ago told me about a different way of finishing them. I tried it, and since then, I believe I haven't had mashed potatoes made with milk in my house anymore. They were talking about how their mom, I believe it was in Australia, used to make mashed potatoes with coconut milk. We tried it and all fell in love with it, my friends, my family. So we're going to do that today. You just get a can of coconut milk. You will heat it up once your your potatoes are cooked. A bit of butter, and you add that instead of your regular milk, and you won't believe the difference. It's just beautiful. Mashed potatoes, all you need, salt. Again, generous, I like salt. And cold water. You want to just cover those potatoes, almost, not too much, just like that. And then we're going to get these going on the stovetop. And there you go. Okay, so the vegetables are cooking, the potatoes are happy cooking. In the meantime, while we have to wait for that, I'll show you what I like doing with these pearls as well, because I know you like the pearls when you try them. So you want to cut up some tomatoes. If you get a nice variety of tomatoes, it'll make your plate look much happier. So we have a green zebra tomato, a little yellow tomato, and a red tomato. And really all you want to do is put a little bit of seasoning on that, like you would for a tomato salad, a little bit of salt. Actually, you can do something really nice and try, if I could find it. Oh, this is sad. There is a black salt, I got it. Sorry. Because I didn't oversalt that quite yet. It's a lava salt. I have to admit I don't taste a huge difference, and that may just be me, but it looks so beautiful on the tomatoes that I've started using that on raw vegetables. Salt, a little bit of pepper, little bit of olive oil. I'm saying a little bit. I love olive oil. You can always, if you want to make this a big appetizer, a nice one, and I know we've tried that in the past, you tried it, put a little bit of burrata or fresh mozzarella on it just to die for, or even goat cheese. I have a blood orange balsamic glaze that I love. Beautiful, beautiful sweet flavor that goes perfect with these pearls because they're somewhat sweet too. So all you do is you add a little bit of the white balsamic pearls and a little bit of the black balsamic pearls. And not only does it look nice, it really, really tastes fantastic. So you can do herbs, you can do cheeses, anything on top of that, but just as a little side, this will work. I'll get you a plate. There you go.
Thank you.
You've got cutlery over there. Try one of each. Burrata is a beautiful cheese. It's that goes so well with these tomatoes. It's a fresh mozzarella with a very soft inside. So when you cut that open, you have the soft part coming out of the center of it, and it's just mild and beautiful.
Oh, that's delicious.
You like?
Lovely.
We're almost ready, so we're gonna go baste the chicken one more time. And, oh, you wanna smell this? We need cameras that bring the smell across, because that's really the best part of cooking before you eat. So one more of this before we're gonna pull that out in a few minutes. So while you're checking here, I'm gonna see if my potatoes are happy. Not quite yet, a couple more minutes and we're gonna be done with that.
And this is pretty much what you're looking for here in the rutabagas. You can just see they're starting to get a little soft on the outside. There's no water left, so they've absorbed all of the water, the butter, the sugar. It's all caramelized. So you can take them off the heat, just let them sit.
The potatoes should be fully cooked now. Let's just double check. And they are beautiful. We'll drain those. And then I'm gonna get to use my grandma's potato ricer. When you drain potatoes, it gets pretty hot and steamy. If you run your cold water at the same time, it helps a little bit to not get all that steam in your face and into your hands.
Tips of the trade.
Tips of the trade. So there we go. Put a little bit of butter in your bowl. That'll make the potatoes taste beautiful. And you want to mash those. The butter will melt as the potatoes drop on it, because they're boiling hot. In the meantime, my coconut milk is heating. We're going to add that next.
How old do you think that masher is?
I wonder. I was fed mashed potatoes in the 60s, believe it or not, by my grandma, so I know it's been around at least since then. Probably 50s, 60s. So it is old. And the way these potatoes come out of here is just to die for. Maybe it's smaller holds, a finer mash, I can't really say. Looking at it side by side, the ricers we have here, the newer ones, the holes look the same to me. We don't use this material much anymore. It's a heavy aluminum. We've gotten away from that a little bit.
But you could also use an electric mixer.
I'd be careful with that, because if you mix too hard, you release all these starches of the potato and it has a tendency to go a little gummy easily. So I like just keeping control over that by doing it by hand. But you probably could, yeah. I like nutmeg, so I'm gonna just put a little bit of nutmeg on this. You start with just a little bit. That's coconut milk, remember? And you want to stir it. Now again, don't whisk it very, very hard and very, very long. Just enough to make it nice and smooth. Otherwise, you will have something a little too gummy. So there we go. That's your mashed potatoes. That was simple, wasn't it? Now the chicken is ready to come out. The rutabaga is caramelized. And when we come back, we're going to plate it really pretty. Welcome back to my kitchen. We are ready to eat. So let's get the chicken out of the oven. We know it's already, we smelled it, we looked at it, it's beautiful, nicely roasted. So, since Ben and I do things a little differently once in a while, I want to show you both ways. I'm very much into the easy, not a lot of work, fast, rustic ways of doing things. And Ben has learned to do things a little more fancy, a little more cute looking. So we'll let him do some of that. We lost a little wing in here. I think we can live without that. So we'll have the chicken first. You're gonna see, you remember we put, oh, and I'm making myself a mess. We've put some lemon and rosemary inside of it. And you can actually smell it now just beautifully.
Smells great.
It does, doesn't it? And I usually save the rosemary and the roasted lemons just to put it as a little bit of garnish on your plate when you serve it. I'm doing things the easy way. We're going to leave this one for Ben to work with. And you can have my wing because I lost that one over there. So what I do is just I cut this in half, one with the leg attached and a little bit of chicken breast, and the rest just the chicken breast. So this is all I do. Can you hold the plate for me, please? So there's one and the other, and then guests can pick what they like the best. And we'll put some of the green and some of the lemon there. There we go. And Ben likes taking his chicken apart a little more.
So we're gonna break down the chicken into a few more pieces. So we'll start with the leg here. If you look between the breast and the leg, there's a little gap. Just grab a boning knife, and you can almost just pull it apart. Doesn't need a whole lot of cutting, it doesn't need a whole lot of force. You just find your way down to the bottom, as simple as that. You have your piece out. We'll move it over here, and then we're gonna cut the breast off of the bones here, because some people don't like to eat their meat right off the bone. So how we're gonna do that is right at the top, you'll be able to follow the meat down and just follow the edge of the bone line. Again, it doesn't involve a lot of force. I'm not pushing a lot on the knife. Just letting the knife follow its way down. So you still have the whole chicken breast now, just the bone left.
Right.
There's the extra wing. So we wanted to slice it. Just follow it through. Make sure you get just a nice cut through the skin. And
There you go.
to the platter. Look a little prettier. Wing. We can leave this in half, or we can cut. You can take your boning knife and cut right along the leg again. And again, no force. It goes right through.
If you find the right spot.
Yeah.
With a little bit of practice, you can always find. And then you have the leg and the thigh.
There we go. Okay, let's get the big messy board out of the way. And we are going to get our meal on the plate.
So for our potatoes, we're gonna top them with just some chives here that we're just gonna, just a nice, small, quick chop. Nothing fancy. All right, so now that we have our chives chopped, I'm gonna slide them off to the side and start our plating.
And they're chopped evenly too. Nice job, Ben.
Grab the 3 plates.
Okay, we'll start with the mashed potatoes. 1, 2.
We'll get some chives going on the mashed potatoes.
We need a bigger kitchen.
3.
And 3. And what are we gonna do? 2 of these? Look at the color. Just beautiful. And we'll leave them just as is because once you taste them, you'll see they won't need anything else. They're just nice as they are.
On the one plate here,
There we go.
I am being spoiled as usual.
maybe with a wing.
Now we're all hungry.
And then we can do the thigh and the leg on another one. And for the last plate, let's do the top piece here. The rustic cut.
Okay, so the chicken breast, Marion, is that
Yes,
your choice?
please.
I knew
Lovely.
that. Why don't you start trying
Thank
that
you.
and tell us how you like it? And I think we all deserved a little snack by now, so let's taste it together. There you go.
Thank you.
I have to start with the potatoes because they are my very favorite mashed potato with coconut milk to die for. Always handy.
I started with the chicken.
And how is it? You're way ahead of
Delicious.
me. It's good.
Delicious.
A little bit of ground black pepper never hurts. Would you like some?
Sure,
Just a little?
just a little.
Marion,
Thank
you like?
Okay.
The chicken.
You've done it again, Esther.
So simple. The rosemary, the lemon inside of that chicken flavors the whole bird. It's juicy, it's delicious, and it's very easy to make. You have an hour and a bit to prepare your other things on the side while this is happily roasting away in the oven. Really simple. Your family will love it.